Hello again, and welcome to the Corner Studio here in my garage. And I see from our high-tech teleprompter, which I typically hold up at the start of the program, it is indeed time for another episode of Friday Evening Camera Talk. This one is number 119. These things just keep piling up, these episodes. I can't believe we've gotten to 119. This show, the kind of content ought to be illegal in some places. We're shooting tonight on the Z5ii with the 24-70 f2.8 version 2 lens. I'm trying this camera out in every possible work setting that I have. It hasn't displaced the Nikon Z5ii with the 24-120 lens, which is our workhorse here now in the studio, and will continue to be. Z5ii, I don't look at it as a backup camera. I look at it as a camera that is smaller and offers kind of different qualities, carryability, that kind of thing. It offers you, good output, but it's not a replacement for the Z8, Z9. But I am testing it thoroughly in all of the different ways that I normally could carry a Z8. And one of those is up on the overhead mount. I actually shot an art video with it, and I just put that up, so it's available. It should be out there if you're curious about it. We have a couple of things tonight. The center of gravity for the show is the form factor of three cameras, the Z5ii, the ZR, and the Z8, and I think I want to just move right into the core of the show tonight. I just thought I'd talk about the form factor of these cameras as well as a little bit of their functionality. Over here, to introduce everybody, we've got the Z8, we've got the Z5ii here, and the new Nikon ZR. Now, the Z5ii is actually the newest one in my household, and it is kind of part of a quest that I have for having a smaller form factor camera body that I can kind of grab and go and carry with me. And we're kind of new in this camera still, so I'm not sure how that's going to sort out. The Z8 is sort of my everything camera. This camera affords the highest possible output that I can get next to the Z9, which is what we're shooting on now with the 24-120 lens. But the Z8 is the camera that I carry with me out in the field when I really mean business and I want to get the best output that I can. Now, I bought the Z5ii hoping to get a smaller form factor here that has good output but has kind of a similar layout, and you can see a lot of the buttons, they're similar. The screen positioning, the EVF, all of that is similar. It's just if you take the Z8 and you just shrink it down, you've got kind of a Z5ii with less capabilities. Now, the ZR is kind of the new camera that Nikon has put out. It's got a different form factor. There's no EVF here, and the screen, as you can see, we haven't opened those up yet, but you can see the screen, it's just noticeably bigger than we've got on these two cameras. Now, let's stay on the screen for a little while. The Z8 hinges out, and you can flip it around, and you can even kind of unstrap it there and get it to go slightly off to either side. I have found this highly useful, and I have for a long time preferred this. However, I'm starting to see the value in being able, particularly when I'm in front of the camera, to take this screen, flip it around where I can see it in the front, and there's been times when I'm thinking that I'm filming with the Z8 or Z9 and I'm in front of the camera and something's gone wrong. I haven't pushed the record button or the camera has stopped or whatever, and you think that you're filming and you're not because you can't see the screen. So having a screen that flips out, I'm starting to see the advantages in that. And this one also enables you, the Z5ii, to kind of very tidily tuck the screen in and snap it shut. Whereas this one in your bag and wherever you go, if you've got this camera over your shoulder, this screen here is always exposed to potentially getting scratched up, whereas you can kind of protect this one. Now, The ZR, I guess my issue with this, and this is the wife's everyday carry camera, this camera here, you only interact with it with the screen. There's no EVF, of course, and you know, I pick up a camera and it's 4 decades of programming, but my eye just naturally goes to the EVF, and I'm still getting used to trying to use this camera. I use it now and again. This big screen is wonderful, and I think if you're not already pre-programmed to need an EVF, this camera could be a wonderful addition. Now, the sizing of this camera, I've turned it sideways there, and what we'll do is we'll scoot this one out where you can see it a little bit. You can see there's not much width with this camera, and what you're looking at on this side is actually, that's a handle that goes with this bracket that provides you with the Arca plate. But the ZR is really, if you're not using this on a tripod, it's a fairly narrow camera with a big back and not very many buttons for controls. The Z8, in my opinion, is kind of the optimal amount of choices as far as the size. The Z5ii is sized down a little bit, but you'll see the button layout on the back of the Z5 is pretty much the same. Now, if we turn the Z5ii and we turn the Z8, you can see the bulkier profile of each camera. The thickness is, again, a little bit bigger on the Z8, a little smaller. You get to your ports over here with, you know, for headphones, for HDMI cables, that kind of thing. The battery on all of these cameras is the same. I'll just take the ZR off and we'll have a look at it. The battery that you're using is the EN-EL15, and I think this one is, if I'm not mistaken, EN-EL15. This one is a C, and it's a slightly higher capacity. The media for this is a CF Express card and a micro SD card in the ZR. The Z5ii is dual SD cards, which are kind of universal, kind of handy. They're compact. The output for this one goes on to, the Z8 goes on to a CF Express B card and an SD card, a full-size one. I think this is the best of both worlds, having a CF Express B card and a regular SD slot. So many things have, you know, SD interfaces. Even one of my laptop computers has an SD card slot, but I have card readers now that have a slot for CF Express B and for SD, so getting data off of these cameras is not a problem, but all things just to be aware of. And the Z5ii is the camera that I really have high hopes for, because the carryability on this camera, already I'm finding it's excellent. It's not a Z8, but the output in it just holds up really well depending on what you're doing. I'm finding that I'm really enjoying using the camera. So we'll see as time goes on. I'll report back on the channel, and we might talk about these guys again. If a new camera body comes out and I decide to lay hands on that one, we'll of course bring it on and talk about it in comparison to these. We're mid-year, not quite mid-year, we're still early actually in 2026, and I'm thinking there may be a couple of camera bodies this year out of Nikon, so we'll see what develops. Anyhow, back to the main segment. Okay, so we just saw that segment on the form factor of these three cameras, and we got the forward momentum going tonight. Why don't we just keep things going along? I think the next thing we'll do is, and I titled this section, the much hated micro SD card, because I don't think you guys have ever heard anything good from me about micro SD cards, but it so happens I just bought one, a brand new one with decent capability, and we'll drop a clip in here and be right back. This is a ScanDisk brand which I have used in the past and have a lot of. Pretty good service out of them. This particular micro SD card is about the $60 price point. It's a 512 gigabyte, half terabyte. It's got a read speed of 190 and a write speed of 130, which is plenty good for photography and respectable enough for video. Now, the reason that I bought this, and I don't like micro SD cards in general, because they have always seemed to me their size makes them a little fiddly, but you know, they come with the adapter here, this carriage that you can plug the card into and use it just as if it were an SD card, a full-sized one. And of course, I could use this with the Nikon Z5ii if I wanted to. And I also have a laptop that accepts SD cards directly, so you don't even need a card reader if you were using a laptop that has been set up for SD cards. But the reason that I bought this is actually has to do with the wife's Nikon ZR. We've got her primary card here is this ProGrade 512 gig card, and that's the primary slot there. Now this little slot is the micro SD card, and to me it's not easy to get a micro SD card in and out of there, but the ScanDisk 512 gig card could be a respectable backup if your CF Express card, if something's gone wrong with it, if it's full and you've forgotten to download it, or if you've left it in your card reader at home and not reinstalled it back in the camera, then this little micro SD card slot could be a good backup. So that's the primary reason that I bought it. And you can see just the way this is set up, it reminds me, the Nikon ZR, it reminds me a lot of the Nikon ZF in the way that the ZF, of course, just had a regular SD card in there with a micro SD card. The ZR, at least thankfully, has the CF Express B card in there, but you can see, I'll get to the point eventually, when you load the card in and the battery, there's that little tiny slot there for the micro SD card to go in. So it's really kind of tightly compacted in there around some other things. But anyhow, I think great backup, probably not a primary card, but anyway, back to the main segment. All right, so we just saw that segment on micro SD cards, and short version is, I guess, I'm not one who's embracing micro SD cards. I really haven't totally changed my opinion about them, but I recognize that they're not going away, because we just bought the ZR, you know, back last fall, and it's a relatively new camera body that has come out with a micro SD card in it. And the Mavic 3 drone, which we bought, the second one back in December, micro SD card. There's a pattern emerging, which is makers of electronics appear to not want to turn loose of micro SD cards, so you get used to using them, even if you don't like them. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, and we sure do hope to see you again soon in another video. So till then, take care.